Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. Another in the series of EB-5 investment visas I'd like to talk about regarding some developments, how things have been updated, and hopefully will help you, the investors, and other people who might be interested in doing this type of program. So I'd like to concentrate on this particular visa on or video on the regional centers. Now I have other videos which go into how you can invest 500,000 in a regional center, and instead of the million which is normal for your own direct business, and and there's some exceptions to that, but for the most part, people who want to invest in a regional center, there's a couple things that generally they want. They do not want the day-to-day operations of a company. They are usually made as a limited partner where they can vote on various policy issues. They do not need to live in the state or place that the regional center is located, and they don't have to be ready to drive to work from 8 to 5 every day. So, if you're interested in investing in a regional center, you don't want the day-to-day operations of a company of your own, and let's say you want to live in California, but there's a good regional center in New York, that would not be a problem. Now, the first thing that always happens when people come into my office, they say, "Can you recommend a regional center?" And of course, the answer is no, because you need to do your due diligence. You need to find out which ones fit your desires and rate of possible rate of return, and and so forth. However, given that there are around 500 regional centers, I do not expect you to start going down and investigate all 500 regional centers. Otherwise, I'd say investigate yourself, and then I'll see you in another 4 years. What I can do is I can give you statistics on a few of possibly the top regional centers. As far as I can say, okay, here's a list of 5 to 10 regional centers with essentially the most I-526 approvals, the most I-829 approvals, the ones that have even up to billion-dollar investment projects with buildings and with shopping centers and so forth. You can then do your due diligence and contact those and see if it's something to your liking. I'm by no way saying that a new regional center is not a good opportunity to get in the bottom floor type situation. And if you tell me you'd like to have a list of maybe the 5 newest regional centers, I can certainly do that. So I can narrow it down for you, where you might want to be looking based upon your criteria, but I cannot recommend. Now, there's also other issues with regional centers that overlap with securities laws, and that is why you want to make sure, whether you call me to help you or whether you have another attorney, that the immigration attorney does have contact with a securities attorney, because there are all kinds of issues in regards to bringing in investments for a regional center. There are security regulations that normally mandate that filings for securities be registered with the SEC unless it falls under an exemption. The exemptions D and exemptions S of the security laws most of the time do apply to regional centers, but you need to make sure they apply. You need to make sure it's done properly, and you need to make sure, and when I say you, I'm talking about the lawyer, needs to make sure that he or she is not giving securities advice of an investment unless it is incidental to their job as an attorney, which in most cases it is if it gets to a certain point. So that is why, if you walk into an attorney's office and that attorney starts telling you all kinds of stuff about the investment and it's good, and no way you can go bad on this one and you get your money back, it's time for you to turn around and walk out the door. Okay, you need to make sure that each party is doing what they properly can and not violating U.S. security laws in the process. So that is why For example, my limitation on telling you, which regional centers you can invest in is really limited to giving you statistical information about the regional centers and giving you, based on what you tell me, a pared down list of ones you might want to look at. And then there are also companies that will assist you for a very reasonable price to do the due diligence. They have no financial interest in the particular company themselves. So what they do is they get all the financials and the numbers, and they crunch them all out, and then they give you a nice report. Because the reality is, when you go to the regional center, their course will tell you how successful they are and how perfect this is, and how you giving them $500,000 will be the best thing you ever did. So you want to make sure an independent third party does the analysis for you on two or three of your top choices, so you can pick which one you want. And you want to make sure, of course, that the regional center, and there's no way to make sure 100%, but regional center has to be in business by the conclusion of the approval of the I-829. If it is not, then your number one, your money's most likely going to disappear, and number two, you won't have your green card either. So it's a real bad situation if the regional center goes under. So you want to make sure that you take care of all of that, and that you have a broker realtor, securities counsel, corporate counsel, most likely there'll be tax counsel. So there's a lot of different areas of law that you need to have the attorneys make sure to protect you and to give you the best possible situation, because ultimately it is the immigration attorney who's going to put it all together. And if you ever watch football, the immigration attorney is like the quarterback, but that doesn't mean the quarterback can do everything on their own. They do need the help of the broker realtor, the securities lawyer, the corporate lawyer, other ones as well. So you want to make sure that you do get into that with the proper mindset, because the reality is most people will come and they'll say, can I get a EB-5 as of yesterday? And the answer, of course, is no. It takes a great deal of work to properly put together an EB-5, but if it is done properly, then you will be able to do what you need to do to come here, get the green card, and go from there. Now, just so you know, once the IA-29 is approved, the day after you can get your money back if your money is coming back, and you can close up shop. Okay, but you need to wait for that I-829 approval. Now, another person you need in the whole process is an economist. Okay, because when doing regional centers and putting them together, the economist has to use economic models to determine jobs that will be occurring within that designated period of time. You need to have 10. Now, I've gone over in other videos how to find the 10 direct positions, but with a regional center, you are also allowed to find 10 indirect jobs and 10 inclusive jobs. Now, what are they? Okay, those are ones that occur because all the money that's coming in sort of trickles down, and other jobs come of it. The indirect jobs might not be working directly for the position, but can work for something related or off-site actually. So in this particular regard, you are able through economic analysis to use all kinds of numbers and correlations and so forth to predict the number of jobs that will be created. And they being economic people, they use RIMS 11, Radin, REMI. These are all names of computer-generated economic models that basically plug in numbers to determine what the indirect jobs will be and so forth. And if you do it properly and you actually get many of the regional centers will have economists working directly for them, they will be able to go forward and do what's necessary in order to give the proper analysis. Now, you may feel more comfortable having your own economist make this type of analysis, because number one, it's not biased. Number two, they're not working for the regional center. And number three, immigration might take more care in looking at it if they know that they are impartial. Okay, so again, with the particular items that I'm going over and with the regional centers, it is possible in certain instances not only to make your own regional center from the beginning, but you can actually find a regional center that's in operation and rent it. Okay, there's ways of renting regional centers. So rather than creating your own, you rent what has already been created. And yes, that's going to cost money and so forth, but that might be a quicker, more reasonable way for you to get in and do what you need to do. Okay, so we've gone over a few of the high points regarding regional centers and so forth. If you have any questions, just give me a call, send me off an email, and we will go from there. And I have more videos in the future. Thank you.